Hello and welcome to the Etoft21sports Show for August 29th. How is everyone doing? My name is Eric. I'm the man behind Etoft21sports. We have an absolute phenomenal show lined up for you today. My boy XFL Jim is this week's special guest. Him and I are going to preview the AFC North. Nick is going to talk fantasy football in the Fantasy Football Spotlight, and Gino will have his horse racing by the day from Del Mar. But before we get into all that, I'd like to thank the sponsor of the show, the SHARPZ betting app. If you are a sports bettor and not using the SHARPZ betting app, you are completely missing out. It allows you to connect your betting apps to the SHARPZ app. Easy to track. See what sports you're good at. See what sports you need to improve your betting skills at. And there's a message board that allows you to interact with other sports bettors. If you're watching on YouTube, go down to the comments. Click on that link. That way they know old Uncle Rico sent you. Or if you're not watching YouTube, watching on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, or Twitch, download the app, use promo code ETOF499. That way they know old Uncle Rico sent you. Now, let's shift our attention over to horse racing and see what Gino's horse racing bet of the day is from Del Mar.
Let's talk some Del Mar for Thursday this week. I'm going to be diving into race number 7. Like always, I'm using daily racing form, drf.com, for the past performances. And in this turf sprint, I thought the 4, Just Nails, has good early speed. The 5, Denim Gold, wants to be forwardly placed. The 7 and the 8 all look like they want to be on the front end. It should set up really nicely for the number 6, Haley Levade. I've played this filly before. She doesn't want to go that far. If you look, her races at 6.5 furlongs, they're not very good. Her race at 1 mile and 1/8 isn't very good. Her best is between 5 and 6 furlongs. She got a little too far back last time out, and it was because she was drawn down on the inside. She got shuffled a little bit. I don't think she'll have to be as far back as she was. She came closing very well to finish 3rd in that race. I think Haley Levade gets some speed to chase. If she's anything over 4-1, that's fair value on her. Haley Levade, 6-1 on the morning line. Good luck with all of your plays. Remember to tune in each and every week to the best information you're going to get in sports from Eric right here with NFL football season on the way, coming soon.
Make sure to give my boy Gino a follow at It's Me, Gino B. I'm on his podcast every single week talking NFL, NBA, whatever. Also, him and I are on the DRF sports book show, The Winning Ticket, every single Friday night. Make sure to check that out at 6 p.m. Now, let's shift our attention over to fantasy football. But before that big announcement, I have actually signed on, and I'm going to be doing some work with Thrive Fantasy during the NFL season. Every time there's a game, have it be Monday, Thursday, or Sunday, I am going to be giving out videos for the Thrive Fantasy prop lobby. Phenomenal thing for sports bettors. It allows you to parlay 2 props together, and you're getting 3.2x return. If you're not using Thrive, you're really missing out. Download the Thrive app, use promo code ETOF21 for a 100% deposit match up to $200, and only a 3x rollover. If you're not using Thrive, you are really missing out. Now let's shift our attention over to the Fantasy Football Spotlight with Nick and see what he has to say about Lamar Jackson.
The player that is in this week's Fantasy Football Spotlight is Lamar Jackson. Jackson, per Fantasy Football Pros, has an ADP of 32 and is QB 4. I'm fading Jackson this year in fantasy football for multiple reasons. 1, Jackson isn't reliable. He hasn't played a full season since his rookie year. 2, Jackson only had 2 games last season when he finished the week in the top 5 of scoring for the quarterback position. If I'm drafting a quarterback that high, I need more than 2 top 5 finishes for the year. Quarterbacks who had more top 5 finishes than Jackson last year were Trevor Lawrence, Tua, Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones, Geno Smith, Jared Goff, and Russell Wilson. Also, one of the bigger reasons that people draft Jackson is his rushing upside. But Jackson's rushing production has decreased every year, so he's not as big of a dual threat as everyone thinks. Also, with the change in offense, we could see Jackson rush less, and when you look at Jackson's passing production, there's reason to be concerned as he's in the bottom 3rd in the league in completion percentage, throwing to the left and right hash, and only 16th in the league throwing to the middle of the field. So I'm not sure that he will put up the passing yards that everyone is predicting. Because of that, I'm fading Lamar Jackson, and that is why he is in this week's Fantasy Football Spotlight.
Make sure to give my boy Nick a follow at a.k.a. Fantasy on Twitter. He's on my podcast every single week. Him and I give previews of fantasy football. We're going to be doing some DFS stuff as soon as the season starts. Make sure to give him a follow. Now, without further ado, let's welcome the man, the myth, the legend, XFL Jim to the show. Jim, how you doing today, my man?
I'm doing great. Anytime I get to do a show with you, Eric, is a good day.
So we have something in the comments. I'm going to bring this up. How about those Elks?
How about the Elks getting their first home win in 4 damn years?
How about those Elks? Cool Kev says, what's up to Jim?
What up, Kev?
Cool Kev? Appreciate you. Lamar is gonna ball out. I hate the Lakers. Jimmy. Interesting conference here, interesting division here in the AFC North. But before we get into all that, Jim, myself, and Chase do a football show every single Saturday morning. Obviously, week 0 was last week. I just want to ask you off the top of your head, what was your biggest takeaway from week 0?
USC's defense still ain't it.
Yeah, I mean, that's brutal. I mean, they couldn't. I mean, in fairness, San Jose State is pretty good, but
they're a good team. They're a good team. Don't get me wrong. They're a good team.
Generate some stops. They brought in that kid, and he just really wasn't able to do anything. I'm spacing on his name. Sports Facts checks in.
Navy does suck.
Yeah, Navy couldn't stop a nosebleed.
Also, Hawaii's better than I anticipated.
Yeah, Hawaii was good. Hawaii looked a lot better. The offense second year with Timmy Chang looked a lot better. Mine is there's a lot of bad coaching, man. There's just a lot of this.
You were texting me about that.
Coaching. I don't understand how you can have a running back that is averaging over 4 yards a carry. 4 yards a carry. Like 4.5 yards a carry. He has 50 some odd yards at 58 at halftime. And you give him 3 carries in the second half with your backup quarterback in there for Rourke, and your backup quarterback has 4 interceptions and has a completion percentage in the low 40s.
And it's not even like they were trying to catch up. It was a close game throughout.
It was a close game until there was that 4-minute drive by San Jose State. I was really,
yeah.
I mean, if Rourke is gone, Ohio's done. Ohio,
I knew that from the jump. Like, if Rourke isn't there, Ohio drops from a top 2 MAC team to lower of the middle.
Oh yeah, but I will say this: I think you can run on San Diego State. I think you can easily run on San Diego State, and then UTEP. I mean, Jesus Christ, that was an absolute masterclass on how to give a goddamn football game away. I mean, I'm invested in their over, so I was counting on that win. But to be down at halftime when the team has 100 total yards is embarrassing.
It's bad.
I mean,
it's real bad.
That is really bad. Now, we're not here to talk about college. You can check Jim and I out every Saturday morning, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time for that. We're here to talk about the AFC North. How this is going to work is I am going to read off some stuff about a team. Jim's going to say his 2 cents. Any bets he has, I'll say my 2 cents, and we'll go from there. We're going to start off with the Cincinnati Bengals, record 12-5. The figure and win total 10.88. Super Bowl plus 1,100 to win the AFC, plus 550 to win the AFC North, plus 140 to make the playoffs. Yes, minus 235. Not make the playoffs, plus 215. Over under 10.5. For those watching that don't know what the Pythagorean win total is, it's basically just a thing where it's points scored plus points given up over points scored to kind of see how you did. Did you overachieve or underachieve? If it's more than 1, so the case with the Bengals Pythagorean win total was 10.88. Actual ones was 12. So per that theory, they're due for regression this year. Per the Pythagorean theory, they're due for regression. I want to hear what you have to say about this team, my friend.
It's hard for me not to see the Bengals as like perennially and consistently being on top of this division, and honestly near the top of the AFC in general, as long as they have Joe Burrow. Like,
I mean, he's so fucking cool, dude.
What is like nothing to me has dramatically changed for the Bengals from the last few years to this year to make me doubt them going into the year, you know? Like,
And I think
I can't doubt them.
So I look at it like this. The offensive line, I feel, is going to take a step forward. They got Orlando Brown from the Chiefs. He's going to come over. He's going to go to left tackle. With him going from left tackle, that allows Jonah Williams to move over to the right tackle position. More of his net. He's struggled at the left tackle. He's going over to his right tackle. He's going to be playing for a contract. That's a good move. The key for the O-line is how much can Cordell Vonson take a step forward. He struggled his rookie year. They do have Collins on the bench, who I feel can step in if Collins struggles. But I'm looking at my rankings right now. I have this as the 10th best offensive line in the league. I think this is a very sound unit with the addition of Orlando Brown, and I'm ranking on Vonson to take that step forward. The O-line needs to protect Burrow because with how great he is, he holds on to the ball longer than other quarterbacks in the NFL. So the pressure's on for them to hold on. With Pirine gone and them drafting Chase Brown from Illinois, who I'm not that high on. I'm not a Chase Brown guy. I think Mixon is in line to have a huge season. The bell cow back in the NFL is basically done. I'm seeing a running back who I feel is going to get 70% of the work, 70% of the snaps in Joe Mixon. And I'm seeing his over-under of receiving and rushing yards at 1,300 and a half.
Combined? Yeah, I'm with you.
I took the over in that. I took the over in that just because there's going to be so many opportunities. Now, could he get traded? Yeah. Could he get hurt? Yeah. But that whole legal thing off the field was settled. He's not going to be suspended for that. So I really like that thing from Mixon. And at the end of the day, the Taylor offense has always kind of been a run-first offense. In terms of the passing game, let's face it, it's Jamar Chase. I mean, he's always going to be there. It's just Jamar Chase. They have Higgins and Boyd. In my eyes, those guys are week-to-week DFS plays. Defensively, they're good up front. They have DJ Reader, Sam Hubbard, and Trey Hendrickson, and they're able to get to the quarterback. Reader is absolutely elite versus the run. I am a little worried about their back four. This is my area of concern. They lost Bates to the Falcons. Both their DBs are graded very low per PFF, and their safeties are as well. So if the up front cannot create pressure, I think opposing quarterbacks are going to be able to pick apart this back four. And I am going to say this. I am going to be on the Browns. Because are you ready for the stat of the day, Jimbo?
Give me the stat of the day, Eric.
Home divisional dogs. Week 1 in the NFL. 65.8% ATS.
Sheesh.
That's pretty good, dude. I'm going to be on the Brownies there that week 1. Yeah, I mean, I just bet Mixon here. I took him over that prop. I believe it was the 1,300 and a half total. I don't know. Do you have any futures with the Bengals here? Or?
I sprinkled a little bit on them for the Super Bowl. Just spoiler alert, I got 2 futures in this division. Sprinkle a little bit on the Bengals to win the Super Bowl. I feel like if I can get anything with the Bengals over 10-1, I'm going to take it. I just feel like they're a consistent team that's going to be in that fight. To me, it's like the Chiefs and them in the AFC are 1 and 2.
Jimbo, you missed last week, dude. You know what my bet is on the Chiefs?
What is it?
Not to make the playoffs, plus 360.
That's a big one.
And I did lie. I just looked. on Bet Online, 1,200.5 total rushing and receiving yards.
Yeah, give it to me.
I freaking love that. Next team, we're going to go to the Baltimore Ravens. Last year, 10-7. Pythagorean win total 9.32. Super Bowl plus 1,800. AFC plus 1,100. AFC North plus 235. Make the playoffs. No, minus 170. Oh, sorry. No, plus 140. Yes, minus 170. Over under 10.5. What do you think of the Baltimore Ravens?
I cannot wait. I don't know why. I am so high on the Ravens this year. I think they're going to blow it out of the park. Or I'm going to get to do what I did last year with the Ravens, where after week 2, what I kind of did was I'd watch them, and then I'd bet against them live bet halftime. Because they had so many late game collapses. If you remember, they had like 4 weeks in a row where they just gave up leads going into half. So I always loved watching the Ravens be like, fade them, live bet the other team money line. I did that 3 or 4 weeks in a row, and it was great.
I will say this. I did hit the Commanders live, which was great in that.
I hit the Dolphins live when they did it too.
Lamar or Tua in fantasy? I know Nick doesn't like Lamar.
That's a you question, Eric. You know what I'm going to say.
So it's a math thing for me. Okay. It comes down to math.
You'll be able to get Tua way later.
Yeah. Think of it like this. You don't know who the wide receiver is. Nick made a case why Lamar is not going to be running. If in your rankings, if you have projected that Hill and Waddle are both going to be top 15, top 20 wide receivers, math-wise, Tua is going to be a top 10 quarterback. It's just simple math. So if that is how you're thinking, you have to take Tua. I'm going to say this. Like, I did a fantasy football draft, big money league, and the way the board broke, I was late and I needed a quarterback. And I had the 10th pick, and I was like, okay, I could go with another positional player, and I could get Tua coming back, or I could take Tua right now. I rolled the dice. Okay. I took a different, I'm spacing on the player I took. Someone else took Tua. And I was like, son of a bitch. And it came back to me. Dak was still on the board. Dak Prescott was still on the board. So I was like, can I take Dak here, or should I take someone else? Of course, me being me, I rolled the dice. I took another positional player. Fucking someone 2 picks in front of me took fucking Dak. So guess who I'm stuck with as my fantasy football quarterback?
Is it Derek Carr?
Dude, Derek Carr even went before the guy I drafted.
Did you get Baker?
I got Russell Wilson.
Bounce back year, potentially. Bounce back year.
And part of me thinks I need to cut one of my players, pick up Sammy Howell for that week 1 game against Arizona. But we're moving on. My thought on the Ravens is this. They got Lamar back to handle this contract situation, but they did lose Ben Powers on the line, which is a huge loss. He was very good at run blocking, but even though they're losing one of the better run blocking guards, this is still one of the better units in the league with the depth they have. I have them as my 3rd best offensive line. Greg Romans is gone. His running scheme was great, and it was just basic shit. He would put more blockers on whatever side they were running on, and that would be it. They would just out. It was basically Vince Lombardi 101 running. It wasn't elaborate at all. They just put more people to that side of the field they're running to and go that way. Todd Monken is coming in. He's from Georgia. He was the Browns OC in 2019. And they had the 22nd best offense in the league. That is what you're bringing in, the 22nd best offense. He's here to open up the playbook, pass the ball more. The question is, can you win with Jackson and these wide receivers throwing the ball? OBJ hasn't played since the Super Bowl. Nelson Aguilar, basically just a deep threat right now at this point of his career. Rashad Bateman, who they drafted early, he's been in and out with injuries. They drafted Zay Flowers, who I like, and they have Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. So they have some weapons in the tight end room. A lot of question marks at the wide receiver position. And the question is Lamar going to be able to throw the ball to the outside part of the field? And let's be honest, he hasn't shown that. I know that he was hurt last season and only played 12 games, but the 12 games, you look 2 seasons ago, he only played 12 games as well, and there was a 600-yard drop in his passing yards last year with the same amount of games, which is a worry point. You look when he throws to the right and the left hashes, he's in the bottom third of the league, and every time he throws it to the middle of the field, it's gotten progressively worse every single year. So I'm a little bit concerned with the changing concepts with them becoming a passing team. One of the big things that happened in the playoff game, and let's be honest, I had the Bengals plus 280 in that game. The Ravens plus 280. I'm still pissed off they effing lost that game. J.K. Dobbins should have gotten the ball at the goal line. And it was weird because coaches agreed. They're like, yeah, we messed up. We should have gave it to Dobbins instead of our backup quarterback. I think with the change in offense, the whole contract situation, he's getting a little bit overlooked. I think he could be in line for a good year. Defense, one of the better ones in the league. Solid front seven. DBs are nails. But the million-dollar question is, can they stay healthy? You remember a couple years ago, they were just dropping like flies with ACL.
Yeah, they were just dying out there.
I mean, they're due for some injury luck. You have Tucker, who, if it comes down to if I have one kicker that I trust, it's Justin Tucker.
He might be the only kicker that you trust.
Damn right, dude. Everyone else, and Jason Hansen, peak Lions. Actually, I would probably take 55-year-old Jason Hansen right now over probably about 10 kickers in the league. I'm just saying. But I only trust Justin Tucker. So in a close game, yeah, he can make some kicks. But I don't know. I'm a little worried about this whole throwing team. I'm a little worried about the health.
Maybe I'm just biased. I'm still very high on Rashad Bateman. Even with all the injury bugs, I can't quit him. I've been high on him since... He's one of those guys that I just see come in as a rookie, and I just picture it. Everything I want from him, I believe. I'm high on the Ravens. I bet them to win the Super Bowl as well, and I also have a future on them for the AFC.
I'm sure. Are we talking? I'm assuming it means taking Corn versus Mini. So are we on Nebraska?
Plus 7.5. I am. That's too many points in the Big Ten West.
You're not worried about no Phil Snow?
No.
Minnesota did lose a lot. Minnesota did. They lost.
That's just too many points for the Big Ten West. That's like 7.5. Crazy.
That's a lot of points, dude. The Matt Rule era is beginning. Now we're going to the Steelers. Steelers 9-8 last year. Pythagorean win total 7.09. So what does that mean? Due for a little regression. Super Bowl plus 5,000. AFC plus 3,000. AFC North plus 500 to make the playoffs. Yes, plus 125. No, minus 150. Over under 8.5. What do you say about the Fighting Mike Tomlins?
To me, it all comes down to I believe in Kenny Pickett. I think he can succeed. The defense is going to be great, as it has been for the last few years. I think they're going to be a feisty team, and they're going to be a team that I'm going to look for like in spots when they're dogs to really take. I don't know how believing I am in the Steelers this year,
Offense for me starts with Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, dude. I'm not a Kenny Pickett guy. Just not a Kenny Pickett.
Of course you're not. Kenny Pickett won me a lot of money, so I back him for life, okay? He won me a lot of money.
Let's make money. Yeah, I hate small hands. I hate small hands Kenny.
You hate Kenny Two Gloves?
I don't like Kenny Two Gloves. I don't like small hands Kenny. I don't think he's going to take the big jump from year 1 to year 2 that I look for in a quarterback. He's athletic, but in my eyes, Canada, the offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, they don't let him use the athleticism enough. They don't let him run the ball enough. Offensive line is going to be one of the most improved units in the NFL. They just signed Isaac Imalo, which I probably just butchered, and drafted Broderick Jones, which shores up the left side of the line. This line will be able to protect Pickett more than it did last year. This will also allow Harris to have an improved season. he was down last year. And I know there's a lot of Warren hype in the fantasy football market. This is still Najee's backfield. This is still, he's the lead dog. He's going to get the goal line work. It's going to be a 65-35 split. And he was hurt last year. He had a severe foot injury, and this dude played through it. He is the legit number one. Also, we got Deontay Johnson. Record for most scrimmage yards without a TD. And he led the Steelers in red zone targets. I really think week one, they're going to try to give him a tutty. So I think the best bet for the Steelers week one is Deontay Johnson to score a touchdown. Now, let's talk in terms of fantasy. What is everyone talking about in fantasy with the Steelers? Mr. Pickens, George Pickens. Mm-hmm. You care to guess when Kenny Pickett took over what the target distribution was? Who had more targets, Deontay Johnson or George Pickens?
Oh, I would say Johnson.
Johnson had 120 targets. George Pickens, 63. That's almost a 2-to-1 difference. Okay, so we need to remember this while we draft Deontay Johnson, while we look to play Deontay Johnson props to begin the season. He's going to be greatly undervalued. And they have, he played 12 games, 12-game sample size when he proved that he was the number one. They also have 73 abandoned targets. They added Washington, the blocking tight end from Georgia in the draft. I really don't think he's going to be that factor in the passing game. They did get Allen Robinson, who's been a disappointment the last couple of seasons. Defensively, you mentioned it, elite. They have Watt, Hayward up front, which is huge. And we've seen how good this defensive is when Watt plays, but it's the million-dollar question. Can he stay healthy? Because when he's not out there, this defense is bad, and the whole team struggles with no Watt.
It is crazy how much of a factor TJ Watt makes for not just the defense, but the entire team looks night and day when he's in.
It's absolutely absurd. It's like they don't believe without him, and it really shows what leadership. But I mean, it shows what leadership.
Yeah.
My one worry point in the back four is Neal. PFF graded out 88 safeties. He ranked number 70, which isn't good. I am interested to see how Porter adjusts to the league. So historically speaking, these DBs, when they come in, rookie DBs, they don't allow them to hand fight. And when they hand fight, they throw a flag. Mm-hmm. But with Sauce Gardner last year, they didn't throw flags. So it kind of, in my eyes, how is Porter officiated? If they don't allow him to hand fight, he's going to struggle in my eyes. But if they allow him to play how Sauce played and not get called, I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be elite out there. So I need to kind of see what's going to happen with that because we really don't know.
Yeah, I feel like that you need like a couple game sample size to see how they're going to be officiating, which I think is dumb. They need to be consistent, but it makes sense.
And I will say this. There's two coaches as a dog every single week, just auto bets for me. Number one, the madman Mike Vrabel. Number two, Mike Tomlin.
Both Mikes.
Anytime Tomlin is a dog, he is a bet for me. You know what? I'm going to go in right here. We're going to play a little game. I'm going to pull up the old database here, and let's see what percentage Mike Tomlin is ATS as a dog. Do you care to guess?
66%.
I'm pulling up right now. Going to coaches. Coach.
That's my guess. 66.
We're going Mike Tomlin. Boom. Dog. Boom. Mike Tomlin is 51, 27, and 3 as a dog. That is 65.4%.
I was close.
As a home dog, which he is week one against the 49ers. Are you ready for this?
What is it?
15, 4, and 3, 78.9%.
I think I might just take the Steelers outright too.
I'll take them plus the points, dude. I mean, like San Francisco's a little nutty.
I might do both.
San Francisco's a weird team to me.
They are.
They're a weird team. Next, We're going to the Cleveland Browns, and as our resident fantasy football guy and a.a. 86 says, Nick, Browns still suck. But you know, Nick, I think I'm going to disagree with you. 7-10.
Eric likes the Browns?
Pythagorean win total 7.99 to win the Super Bowl plus 3,500. AFC plus 2,000 to win the North plus 400 to make the playoffs plus 115 to miss the playoffs minus 135. Over under 9.5. Jimbo, what say you about?
Man, this team is, as much as I want to shit on them, they're very much an unknown in my eyes. Like, I don't feel like we really got to see enough Deshaun last year to know how he's going to play off of a, 2.5 year break for the most part. Just in general, I don't trust the Browns coaching. This is just something I just live by for my entire life. This is a habit. They're an interesting team. They're a wild card team that, I don't know, they could make some noise and be weird.
I like the Browns. What is the step we're going to see from Deshaun Watson? Through 2018 to 2020, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Mm-hmm.
We need to remember that in the 2019-2020 season, the Houston Texans were up 21-0 at Kansas City, driving down. It was 4th and 1. O'Brien could have went for it, stomped their foot on Patrick Mahomes' neck and gone up 28-0. But he took the 3, played a conservative. Kansas City stormed back, ended up winning the game 51-31, ended up winning the Super Bowl that year. I mean, that's what was allowed. He went into Kansas City and put them up 21-0. And this is going to be the best offensive line that Deshaun Watson has ever had in front of him. They're going to give him time to throw the ball. Also, during that time frame, he was one of the better RPO quarterbacks in the league. And now you're pairing him with Nick Chubb. I think Watson's going to take a huge step forward and is going to be close to the 2020 Watson. It's going to be interesting with Chubb to see what we get from him. He went over that 300 touch mark. He had 302 carries last year, the most in his career. How is he going to be affected going over 300 touches? Are we going to see the wear and tear on the body? Personally, because of how good the offensive line is, I don't think it's going to affect them that much. Willis and Conklin both struggled last year. They're 2 bookend tackles. I think they're going to rebound, and I think this is going to be the best offensive line in the NFL.
Woo.
Now you're adding playmakers to the offense to go along with Peoples-Jones and Cooper. They got Elijah Moore for pennies, like literally pennies on the dollar. They got Elijah Moore. So now you have an elite slot wide receiver. And oh yeah, who did they draft? They drafted Cedric Tillman. Cedric Tillman, who, if he would have came out a year earlier, would have been a first-round wide receiver. If he didn't get hurt, would have been drafted in the first round. If he didn't get hurt, would have won the best wide receiver award. Yeah, in college football. That's how good Cedric Tillman is. And he's their 4th wide. He's number 4. Oh yeah, hey, Cedric Tillman. Why don't you go in there, do something? So you have the best offensive line in the game, arguably the best running back in the game. You have 4 playmaking wide receivers. If Deshaun Watson can be anything like 2020 Deshaun Watson, this is a legit Super Bowl contender with that offense.
Damn.
Defensively, they bring in Jim Schwartz to run the wide 9 defense, which I'm going on record. I hate the wide 9 defense. But they have Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith. Did you see that play in the last preseason game? You're focusing on Myles Garrett. So you have this right tackle blocking Zadarius Smith one-on-one, and Smith is just bulldozing him time after time after time. You have a good 1-2 punch now where you can't put 3 guys toward Garrett's side because Smith is just going to eat. So they have that elite pass rush. Linebackers are good, but the key for them is they need Walker to be healthy. Ever since they added him from Indy, he just hasn't been able to stay healthy. Now, you have Ward, Delport, Thornhill, Newsome. This is one of the most underrated secondaries in the league. I like this team a lot. They have a good schedule. So this is what I'm doing. Browns. I got them at plus 120 just to make the playoffs. Just to make the playoffs, plus 120. And I also did a little sprinkle on the 35-1 to win the Super Bowl.
God dang it, Eric. You're going to get me to sprinkle.
Dave Kozak. Yo, E, I like your thoughts about the Browns. Do it, Jimbo. Do that little sprinkle. Do that little sprinkle.
I see it at 40-1. I'm going to sprink.
Just because the number is so big, you're going to be able to hedge out of it if you don't like it at some point in the season.
Eric, you know me.
You're
I don't hedge.
Anti-hedging, Jim?
I don't hedge. I double down, if anything.
You double down, you press your luck?
Yeah, that's what I'm about, dude.
So my one thing with this conference is this. And it kind of reminds me of the AFC West last season. You have 4 teams that people are really high on. Okay? So we have the Bengals, Browns, Steelers, and the Ravens. Four teams people
I
are
think
high.
it's going to be an incredibly competitive division.
I look at it like this. I think there's going to be 2 that meet expectations and 2 that fail to meet expectations.
The question is, which 2?
I think it's going to be the Baltimore Ravens. I'm sorry. And I think it's going to be the Steelers, man.
What are the Steelers' expectations, though?
A lot of people think they're going to make the playoffs. They've kind of been that trendy team people think are going to make the playoffs just because they've been so good in the preseason.
That's fair. Like I said earlier, I think the Steelers will be my team that I look for to play in spots. Like, as we've said many a times, Mike Tomlin is a dog. I'm probably just going to take it, just flat out. Eric, somehow you won me over to the Browns. I maybe have done the dumbest parlay of my life.
Give it to me.
Browns, Ohio State parlay.
Really?
Yeah. 368-1.
300. How much? Oh my God, Jimbo. Jimbo, we're going to the Sugar Shack if that hits.
I only put a couple bucks down.
Let's make some money. Any early college football? Any early leans for college football weekend? I'll be honest, I have nothing. I wanted to take Hawaii over Stanford. That opened up at 7, immediately was bet down to 3.5. In my eyes, value on that is long gone.
Wait, Hawaii's playing Stanford?
Yeah, on the island.
Yeah, that value's gone.
Yes, this is I am rocking the CMU Chippewas. Let's go Chips. Bobby chimes in. CMU over MSU. That's a big statement there, Bob.
Eric, is he fired if that happens?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. How funny would it be if he's fired just week 1?
Week 1?
Like, just week 1, gone. Just, hey, sorry, sport. You're gone, bud. I don't even know. I'll be honest. I'm not going to lie. I'm just being straight up with her. I really haven't even looked at the college football slate.
I gave it a glance yesterday. I gave it one little glance yesterday. The only thing I liked is I honestly did like Nebraska plus 7.5 versus Minnesota. I think like it's a competitive game. Now everyone who hears that should bet Minnesota because I am terrible at betting either way in Nebraska games. I don't know what it is. Just awful with it. Absolutely awful. I'll bet the under in the Stanford-Hawaii game. How about that?
My looks are this. Is you have the trend of teams that played week 0 versus teams that didn't play in week 0. We got one of those with San Jose State getting 16.5, hosting Oregon State. That is very tempting to me. That gets 17 or north. I'm invested. You got Texas Tech going to the altitude in Wyoming. We talked about this in our Mountain West preview. I'm going to be in Wyoming there. I don't know what to expect from Washington State this year. I really don't know what to expect from Washington State with all this stuff with the conference and everything. What are we going to see from them? If that gets in the 2 touchdown range, I'm going to be looking at Colorado State. Obviously, Utah's quarterback's not playing. This number is all the way down to 4 for them hosting Florida. But I'll tell you what, if this gets to 3, I'm going to take Utah. I don't think Florida is that good this year. I have some serious questions about them. Miami, Florida's quarterback may be out. Miami, Ohio, I don't trust him there. What do you think about primetime? Getting 20 and a half.
That's a lot of points. It's a lot of points. I'm probably staying away because, like, Colorado, I expect them to still be really bad, especially to start the season.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of points.
Louisiana Tech getting 20 and a half. Again, same trend as before. Team that played versus team that didn't play. I'm kind of tempted to take, if Northern can get in the 9.5, 10 range, I'll be looking at NIU for sure.
Eric, I got the disgusting thing already. I have my early look ahead disgusting round robin for you.
All right, give it to me, man.
Wyoming over Tech.
Yes.
Toledo over Illinois.
Love it.
Northern Illinois over Boston College.
Love it.
Fresno State over Purdue.
That's a lot. I would replace Fresno State with South Alabama over Tulane.
I could do that. I was looking at that one as well. I was looking at South Alabama, Tulane. Let's do it. Let's replace it.
And I'll tell you what, nice little Sunday slate too. And I like how they're spaced out. Northwestern, Rutgers to start out, Oregon, San Jose State, LSU, Florida State. Nice little slate of games. Jim and I are going to be live. Are we going live every day this weekend?
How many games are on Friday?
Are we going to do Thursday?
1, 2, 3. There's 4 games Thursday. We could do Thursday real quick.
All right, so Jim and I are going to be live Thursday time. Jim, myself, and Chase, will be live Thursday time TBD. Did you say Friday may be hard for me?
Well, Friday's going to be hard because there are some like earlier games. So we'll say at least Thursday and Saturday for sure.
Oh, dude, we got to do Sunday, man.
Oh, yeah, and Sunday. I forgot there's a Sunday games this week.
And there's a Monday game, too.
Maybe every day this weekend except Friday.
Maybe. Be on the lookout for that. Make sure to give my boy Jim a follow at XFL Jim. If you missed his CFL midseason recap, you are definitely missing out. And you know what, Jim? I may have put a little cheddar on the Elks 10-1 to make the playoffs in the CFL. Maybe.
You know what? With Trey Ford back there, they're not looking bad, dude. They're not looking bad.
Also, make sure Jim and I do a show every single week, Wednesday night. It's about 9:30-ish, 8:30-ish Central Time, somewhere in there. And we talk CFL. And I mean, if you've been following our picks, we've been doing pretty good. We talked some USFL, we talked some XFL, we talked Japanese football.
We got a lot of big USFL, XFL news for all the guys who made it / got cut. And a little spoiler, there might be some movement among one of the teams in one of the leagues. Just a little wet your whistle there.
Look at that. Make sure to give my boy Jim a follow at XFL Jim. We're going to be back next week with our week 1 picks. We have the gunslinger coming on next week. Former Division III quarterback, Reed Bianucci is going to be on next week, sharing some picks. Also, I was going to send you a message. Big Ben Bianucci got cut today. Did you see that?
I saw that. He was going to be one of the things we're going to talk about tomorrow.
Make sure to turn in for that. Make sure to give my boy Jim a follow. We'll be back next week, boys and girls. Let's make some money. Let's cash some tickets. Until next week, my friend.